Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, warshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you a battle report from the bridge of Tier 6 British light cruiser HMS Leander. I really love the British light cruiser line, certainly starting at about Tier 5. I did not used to care for Emerald, but I gotta say, guys, a lot of the changes they made over the years, that ship has grown on me. I've had some hilarious moments driving that boat. She is fun. Fiji at Tier 7 is arguably one of the best Tier 7 light cruisers in the game. Tier 7 cruisers in the game, period. And in between these two extremes is this ship. We find HMS Leander as the transition from the old kind of single gun mount light cruiser of Emerald up to the monster of Fiji and headed on towards Edinburgh. Leander is honestly a pretty good little ship for her tier. The smoke, the heal, the hydro, all of these things combine to make her a really, really good destroyer hunter. When you fully spec this ship out for stealth, she drops under 10-kilometer detection. It's like 9.3 or 9.6, something like this. I can't remember. It's quite good, okay? And she's got a lot going for her. The trick comes in kind of how do you manage it when you're in a bottom tier game like what I am here on Trident. Spawning on the south side on an Epicenter game, my immediate plan is to move up into the middle ring. I'm going to crash this island right in front of me. I'm going to smoke as I head into it, leave myself some cover, and give my guns, basically provide some cover for this, our only friendly destroyer, which is this Leningrad, and try not to do what the Edinburgh on my team just did, which was get blown off the board in less than 2 minutes. In a smoke cruiser with a heal. Okay. Smoke generator activated. So now we managed to actually solo cap the outer ring along the way. That's how slow my team was kind of getting organized and getting off the mark. See there an enemy Odin trying to kind of push in. I'm not sure where he's going just yet. I've got good eyes on a Leander over there on the edge of the map, and that Amagi is barely moving. Like, I think he's maybe a quarter speed, maybe. So we're going to shell him for a little bit, pick up some damage. Leander's guns reload just as fast as Fiji's, 7.5 seconds. The trouble is that she only has 8 barrels compared to Fiji's 12. So when she's bottom tier like this, her firepower, she's going to feel a little undergunned, and comparatively, she is undergunned, right? So the trick is it's about firing at the right things, taking those targets of opportunity, and looking for the damage where you can find it. I'm getting free salvos on the Amagi, I'm happy to do that, but this Odin is pushing very aggressively into the cap circle. Now, Odin, of course, comes with torpedoes and hydro, 5-kilometer hydro at least. I think it's 5, might be 5.5, but it's at least 5. So I have to kind of play a little frosty. I'm going to reverse out here. You're going to see me back off just a smidge, try and get angled a bit so I can duck behind this island if I have to. The British cruisers, remember, get a really nice acceleration bonus that they get off, they go from 0 to moving very, very, very quickly. Looks like I'm going to get at least 1 torpedo into that Odin. Doesn't appear to have his hydro up, or he probably would have dodged them. So yep, there's a torpedo. So we switch our guns to this Leander, who kind of blundered out of his smoke just a little too far. And we'll get some damage into him, and then we'll go back on the Amagi. So at the moment, I'm just trying to, plate damage farmer and work the middle of the map. Now, the Odin is 4.5 kilometers away. He's well inside his own hydro range if he wants to hydro me. But now, my smoke is gone. So there's kind of no point for him to hydro me, is there? So now I've got to move up and get some cover. His torpedoes are coming in. Enemy Leander takes a shot, gets a couple of shells in, but as I move up behind cover, nobody has eyes on me anymore. Leander would, except he's sitting in smoke. And the Amagi is behind the Leander smoke. He has no line of sight either. But what's going to happen next is something that I kind of overplay my hand and I get a little too clever for myself. I've got single fire torps because British cruiser, right? So my thinking is, all right, there's a Leander out there at about 9 clicks. I have about, I think it's 7 or 8 kilometer torpedoes, I forget which, but there's certainly enough ships in this direction to make it worthwhile for me to throw my torpedoes over there and see what happens. Remember, to my knowledge right now, I don't know if the Odin has his hydro up, but I'm figuring, why not? Let's try it. So, there go the torpedoes. Unfortunately, there I am spotted by the enemy mines, and the enemy Odin is ready for me with a full AP salvo. Between he and the mines, there goes 2/3 of my health pool. The mines reloads very quickly, of course. He brings more of those 150mm AP shells in, and I eat some more full pins in the stern as I pop a heal and just try and recover. Well, that could have gone better. The enemy team, you'll notice, by the way, is pushing very aggressively down the 6-7 line, whereas my battleships have barely left their own spawn area. If you look at where that Kansas and that Monarch is, they're not even to the outer ring of Epicenter. I don't even know what they're shooting at. Apparently the mines just took a decent hit from somebody, but I mean, beyond that, what exactly do they have line of sight to? There's islands all over the place, and they probably can't see anything. They're failing. I get so frustrated at my battleships this game, right? Their battleship, the enemy battleships get up, they push, they play aggressively. My battleships play so just, whatever. We're going to play 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers away from anything useful, and just hope we hit something. Oh, it's just, it's painful. It's just painful. I'm trying to get shots on this Schoors over the island, no dice. And a friendly Zara comes in the island behind me here, crashes the island. He gets some torpedoes into the water. But now, of course, the Odin does have his hydro up. 5-kilometer hydro there, and we are detected, even though the smoke is here. Now, none of those guys have line of sight. Cannot get shells on me just yet. Zara's going to throw his slow torpedoes downrange. That will cause the Odin and some of those ships to kind of turn or pause or whatever. And I'm sitting here with my single-fire torps. My starboard torps are reloaded. I'm waiting for them to also commit as well. So you see him there. He dodged. He turned in to duck away from the Zara torpedoes. Those have missed. Now I'm waiting for him to start turning back out. You see him there as I dump all 4 of my torpedoes again. Now, this is a mistake, right? I know his hydro's up. In fact, right there, his hydro has just evaporated. So what I ought to have done was fire those torpedoes singly, space them out, and cause him to either stop completely or maneuver more than he had to. So that's a mistake on my part. I didn't utilize that very well. His hydro is completely offline now, so I'm thinking I'm going to get some really good use out of my starboard torpedoes. I lead those, assuming he's going to come out from around this island. Friendly Zara going off the board there, not really getting anything good out of him, as now I am lit as the Bliss comes around the island. But the Bliss is actually a pretty good target for me to be shooting at, and the Odin does not have a very good angle on me. He's looking directly at my stern. Yeah, he's getting some damage, but it's not a big hit. Not like he got earlier with those Citadels, which I'm sure was at least 2 Citadels in that salvo. At this point, I'm trying to cling to life, popping a heal until my smoke comes back up. It's finally going to do so right there. I'm going to hit it here, and that's going to break line of sight. They're all going to lose sight of me again because everybody who's shooting at me is astern of me and can no longer spot me. Now, that spotting does work both ways. My friendly Ryujo pulls his planes out, so now I have no spotting anymore either. At least not until one of these guys shoots and I can detect him. I've really got to avoid these torpedoes. You see how low I am. My heal is on cooldown for a while. My heal will come back up before my smoke expires, though, so that is good timing on my part. Enemy Odin has finally moved out from his cover. It looks like he's trying to cut back into the middle of the board, and once again, my starboard torpedoes are about to be done. Oh, no, there they are. They are done reloading. So I'm going to overlead these just a hair from the marker, assuming he's going to continue turning into them. There we go. The Bliss gets lit again. I'm going to pick him up immediately. These shells do great things, but we're 300 points down. They own every ring of this board because my battleships refuse to be useful. Now, my detection in smoke is 4.6 kilometers. I actually am I'm checking that right now before I fire to make sure that I don't get detected when I shoot out of my own smoke cloud here, and I don't. But as I check one more time, I realize it's too late for the Odin. He can't dodge. You know he's going to take one of those to get him out. He can't dodge anymore, and that'll be a kill for me. Boy, we needed that. We finally caught up on ships. 5 kills apiece now, as the enemy Leander continues to push. I'm not sure why he's being so hyper-aggressive trying to chase our friendly Ryujo, but he is. Our Miyoko's going to come in and steal that last couple hundred HP as he goes out. Those enemy battleships continue to push, though. You see there the KG-5. He's back. He's continuing to move up. The enemy Amagi also continuing to move up. My smoke is expiring. I got to get going again. As the George is actually in a smoke cloud right now. As long as I hold my fire, he can't see me. But of course, as soon as he pops out of that cloud right there, I'm detected yet again. Now, he's not paying attention. His guns are looking probably at the Kansas. He's firing at somebody else. As I started, well, if he can see me on the surface, it's not doing me any good to hold my fire, so to hell with it. Let's shoot back. And so, that's what I start doing, looking for full pins out of my fancy British light cruiser AP into his upper works. I am taking some overpins as the Amagi lands a few shells on me from dead astern. 2 overpins there. My smoke is almost back. Once again, I'm literally just moving from smoke to heal, smoke to heal, smoke to heal. As my smoke is just about back, here comes a salvo from the KG-5. We're going to pull the handbrake and hope that he overshoots. He does. I take 1 hit and a fire. I put all of that out. And now, at last, I'm covered by smoke again as the KG-5 goes off the board. We now have a 2-ship lead. I won't say our first ship lead of the game, but certainly it feels that way.
Smoke screen set.
As the Amagi is fishing for me, but I've got some depth to this smoke. He comes up short, and now I can farm him for free. So over the next couple of minutes, I'm just going to be able to just kind of, leech damage off this guy. Let's look at the strategic situation here for a minute. The enemy Bismarck has been AFK the entire game. Our Scharnhorst is up there trying to finish him off. He's backed up by a Monarch you see there in the outer ring, who's actually turning over the outer ring. And the Amagi, unfortunately, back on the 2-3 line, really doesn't have any shots at basically anybody right now. I'm not sure what that guy's doing. Friendly Miyoko does bag the Bliss. That gives us an even bigger cushion. We now have a 3-ship lead. But what's frustrating me, like, you see the scores, they finally flushed him out from behind that island, and yet none of these battleships are punishing him as he runs south. The Amagi is taking shots, or the Kansas is taking shots at this guy again, the Amagi in front of me, as that Scores is basically moving down the 7 line for free. A single battleship salvo could wipe that guy out, but one of my battleships even shoots at him. The Amagi, I think, finally realizing his predicament, he's trying to chase our carrier. I get what he's doing, but if, we've actually made up some ground here. We're only 150 points down. We have managed to cap the outer ring. If he doesn't turn around and get back into the game, we've got a lot of health that we can put into the middle of the board. He may find himself wishing that he was somewhere else. So, to his credit, I think he realizes this is a bad position. I'm chasing and I shouldn't be. Let me go back to the middle of the board and try to play the objective. My smoke expires for the moment. I've got hard cover from the Amagi with this island in the way. He can't spot me. And the Scores is not inside my detection radius while firing yet. However, that is about to change. Next time I pull the trigger, right there, the enemy Scores does pick me up as I turn my engines on and start running north. I'm out of smokes. I've got 1 heal left. And now both of them pick me up, trying to get some shells in. I'm hoping to get some full pins on this Scores before we lose sight of him. But the Amagi is going to turn his guns, pull the trigger, and my game will be over right here, as at least one of those shells will be a full pin or a Citadel, and that's my game. Now, the good news is the Scharnhorst pushed all the way up to the B line, killed the Bismarck, and hunted down the enemy carrier. In the meantime, with the Scores and the Amagi both looking at me, nobody's looking at this Kansas, he's going to pick up the middle of the board as well. So finally, almost 14 minutes into this game, my battleships have decided to be relevant. Now, the Scharnhorst, to his credit, and he's pretty low on HP. You see him up there on the B line. He's about 5,000 or so. He's done some good work, right? But the rest of these guys, I don't know what they've been up to, right? Because they've been playing well behind the caps all game until basically now. Ugh. Anyway, Friendly Ryujo is continuing to do what he can against the Amagi. It's getting late. He's struggling to put full squadrons in the air. He's doing what he can, but it's only going to amount to so much. As not only are they going to surrender the outer ring back to the Amagi, he's going to pick up a solo cap again. This Kansas is going to be trading shots across the middle of the board with the Scores that he's not really doing a great job of leading, because apparently he doesn't realize the Scores is hardly moving. The good news is we've caught up to within 10 points now, and there is time to finish these 2 guys off. They are the last 2 survivors of the enemy team. Friendly Ryuju going in for strike. He's not going to land anything. Those planes will all be dead before he can get him in. The Scores is kind of trying to play detection games here, because without carrier planes of our own spotting him, we have no eyes on him. He's behind that island. Friendly Monarch has backed out to the outer ring again. He will pick it up with help of the Amagi way up on the D line. That's good. Finally, we have our first lead of the game with 5 minutes to play here. Friendly Kansas still looking for a shot. I'm waiting for that Scores to show up again. as the Monarch has realized he needs to aggressively push this Amagi, and he is doing just that, stepping into the middle ring, stopping all of their points gains. Scores finally comes out from behind his cover, and the Kansas, at long last, gets a good salvo into him. Some more shells coming in there, and they're finally going to bag that Scores in just a second. You see the friendly Miyoko still alive down on the eye line. He's getting into the act. He's going to get that Scores down to about 1,000 HP or so. And here comes a Sharnhorse salvo from downtown that's going to seal the deal right there. Leaving the enemy Amagi on 6,500 HP. Friendly Monarch puts some AP into his forward section for some full pins. He's almost out. The Amagi's not going out without a fight, though. That salvo right there takes about 20k or so off the Monarch, but it's not enough. The team finally cleans up the last enemy ship. Epicenter games are exhausting. And this one in particular, right? Because it felt like I was sticking fingers in the dam while my battleships didn't know or care what was happening, as what felt like the entire enemy team pushed right down the 6-7 line into my face, and I'm just doing everything I can to keep them off my back. But Leander, to her credit, and Fiji and Edinburgh and all these little smoke light cruisers in the line have the tools to do that effectively. So it's not a horrible position to find yourself in, even when you're bottom tier. You see here, I have a pretty good XP result out of this game, and 100k for a bottom tier light cruiser. I'm really not upset with my damage total either. These are fun ships to play. The heal and the smoke give them a longevity that is only... you have to see it to believe it. You really do. And the mid-tier cruisers are not like the Minotaur at the top of the tree. Minotaur will get penned by just about anything, any angle you shoot at her. Edinburgh, Fiji, and even Leander have decent belt armor. They can stand up to heavy cruisers. Not broadside, of course, but certainly by the time you start angling, those are fights that you can engage in and win. Against battleships, well, the equation starts changing, of course, but they're still really, really good ships and really fun ships to play. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Be safe, wash your hands, and I'll catch you next time.